Desperation has a scent, and scammers are like sharks that can smell it from across the ocean. They know when you are vulnerable, when you are tired, and when you are praying for a miracle. Tonight, that miracle arrives in an inbox, disguised as a blessing, but carrying the weight of a curse. It is 1:45 a.m. on a rainy Tuesday in a cramped apartment in Chicago. Robert, 50, a weary logistics manager who has recently faced a salary cut, sits hunched over his cluttered desk. The room is dimly lit, illuminated only by the cold blue light of his computer monitor and the warm glow of a street lamp filtering through the blinds. Stacks of unpaid medical bills and past due notices are scattered across the desk, acting as a physical manifestation of his stress. He rubs his tired eyes, the sound of rain tapping against the window creating a rhythmic, hypnotic backdrop. He is clearing out his junk folder, deleting spam emails about pills and crypto, when one subject line stops his hand. Urgent, regarding the late Michael, Robert's last name. The familiarity of his own last name triggers a pause. Curiosity wins over caution. He clicks. The email is long, formal, and formatted with what looks like an official letterhead from the Zenith Bank PLC in Lagos, Nigeria. It reads, "Dear Robert, I am Mr. Charles Oka, branch manager of Zenith Bank. I am contacting you regarding a deceased client, Mr. Michael, last name, a foreign contractor who unfortunately lost his life in a tragic auto crash on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway along with his wife and only daughter last month. Before his death, he deposited a sum of $8.5 million USD in our bank. Since he has no living next of kin, this money is about to be reverted to the government treasury or donated to questionable charities. However, since you share the same last name, I can present you as the next of kin. We can split the funds, 70% for me, 6 mountain, and 25% for you, 2 mountain, with 5% for expenses. This transaction is 100% risk-free and legal, but we must act fast." Robert reads it twice. $2 million. The number dances in his mind. It would pay off the house, the medical bills, everything. He knows deep down it sounds too good to be true, but the specific details, the car crash, the official bank language, plant a seed of hope in the fertile soil of his desperation. Robert replies, "Is this real?" Within minutes, he receives a response. It's not just text this time, it's attachments. High-quality PDFs of a certificate of deposit, a fake death certificate for the alleged relative, and a scanned ID card of bank manager Charles Oka. The documents look official, adorned with stamps, signatures, and government seals. This is the authority bias. The scammer knows that official-looking documents bypass our critical thinking. The stamps, the seals, the legal jargon, they are all props in a theater play designed for an audience of one. Robert feels a rush of adrenaline. He replies again, "Okay, what do I need to do?" The trap snaps shut. The manager replies, "To legally transfer the funds to your U.S. account, we need to file a letter of administration with the Nigerian High Court. Since you are not in the country, I have contacted a local attorney, Barrister Johnson, to represent you. However, the court requires an official affidavit fee of $1,850 to process the claim. Once this is paid, the $8.5 million will be released to your account within 48 hours. I cannot pay this fee myself, as it would look suspicious if a bank employee funded the claimant. You must send this via Western Union or Bitcoin immediately to start the process. $1,850. It's a lot of money for Robert right now, but compared to $2 million, it's a drop in the ocean. It feels like an investment, not a cost. The scammer creates a narrative where they are partners in crime, creating a false bond of trust. Robert calculates. If he uses his emergency credit card, he can cover the fee. He thinks, it's just for 48 hours, then I'll be a millionaire. He drives to the nearest 24-hour convenience store, withdraws cash against his credit card limit, and sends the money via Bitcoin ATM as instructed. He sends the receipt to Mr. Oka. But the hunger of a scammer is never satisfied. One payment is never enough. It is merely the test to see how deep the victim will swim. 2 days later, instead of the $2 million, another email arrives. Bad news, Robert. The High Court has approved the transfer, but the Anti-Terrorism and Money Laundering Agency has put a stop order on the funds because the amount is so large. We need to purchase a drug clearance certificate for $4,500 to lift the hold. This is the final step, I promise. Robert feels sick. He doesn't have $4,500, but he has already spent $1,850. If he stops now, he loses that money forever. This is the sunk cost fallacy. He calls his brother. He lies, saying he needs money for a medical emergency. He borrows the money. He sends it. A week later, another fee. Tax clearance, then transfer levy. Robert is $15,000 in debt. His brother is asking for repayment. The bank manager stops replying. The email address bounces back. The realization crashes down on him in the silence of his empty apartment. There was no inheritance. There was no Michael. There was only a thief in an internet cafe laughing at his greed and desperation. Robert holds his credit card, ready to pay. But his hand freezes. He looks at the email again. Specifically, he hovers his mouse over the from address. It says, Mr. Charles Oka, Zenith Bank, private, office @gmail.com. Robert frowns. Why would a bank manager of an $8 billion corporation use a free Gmail account for a multi-million-dollar transaction? He opens a new tab. He copies the text of the email. Tragic auto crash on the Lagos Ibadan Expressway, deceased client. He hits search. Thousands of results appear. The Nigerian Prince scam explained. Advance fee fraud templates. List of common scam emails. He sees the exact same email script, word for word, posted on a scam warning forum 5 years ago. The only difference is the name changed from Michael Smith to Michael Roberts' last name. Robert leans back, a cold smile forming on his face. He replies to the email, but not with a receipt. He writes, Dear Mr. Oka, I am ready to proceed. However, my lawyer requires a video call with you at the bank branch to verify your identity before releasing funds. Also, since you are taking 70% of the $8.5 million, please deduct the $1,850 fee from your share of $6 million. Surely you can afford a small advance on your millions. The scammer's kryptonite. Logic. Scammers operate on a script. When you ask them to deviate, to show their face, or to use their own imaginary money, the illusion shatters. The response is instant and angry. You are playing games. Do you want to lose this opportunity? Trust is essential. Robert laughs, realizing the power dynamic has shifted. He clicks Report Phishing and Delete. He takes a sip of his coffee. He is still broke, but he is safe. He didn't let greed blind his judgment. The camera pulls back from the apartment, rising above the city skyline. Narrator, voiceover. The promise of easy money is the oldest trick in the book. Whether it's a prince, a bank manager, or a dying widow, the story is always the same. A tragedy, a fortune, and a small fee to unlock it. Remember, real banks never use Gmail or Yahoo for official business. You cannot inherit money from someone you've never met. If they ask you to pay money to get money, it is always a scam. Don't let your desperation write their paycheck. Stay alert. Stay skeptical.